Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
I am that dude, Bodkins. Patty to patty. It's ridiculous. No way. There's nobody else out there. He's your guy. Give a big round of applause for the one and only Bodkin Show. I'm going to repeat that again, folks. I didn't stutter. Welcome to the Bodkins Show. Welcome, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to another great episode of the Bodkin Show. I am that dude, Bodkins. Of course, you guys know what it is. Happy Wednesday. You know what we do on our Wednesday nights. It is our Week 13 NFL preview show. Man, the season is flying fast. It is moving right along. 13 weeks. I mean, now the teams that we kind of knew were going to be good, still some surprises out there. I think the Giants starting to level off. Seahawks starting to level off after some surprise starts. You're seeing some teams maybe turn it around, turn it on. And really the elite that has been the elite all year, it continued to be the elite. But one of the biggest surprises of the year is the struggles of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In fact, the Bucs ruined all my parlays on Sunday, them and the Ravens, but really the Bucs first, losing to the Browns. Shout out to Bobby G and in his Browns. He had that one right. So I had to bring a guy in, insider guy that knows the Bucs inside and out, and I got to ask him, what the hell is going on in Tampa Bay? Is Tom Brady old? And are we ever going to see the old Tom Brady? What's going on there? And so I had to bring a guy in, a guy who knows all about the Bucs. Give it up for tonight's guest, the legendary Mr. Bigg Slim. Bigg Slim, I appreciate you. You are from, is it the, am I saying Bucks and Cannons and Bucks or Swords and Cannons podcast? Is that how? Go ahead and get that.
Swords and Cannons podcast, Buccaneers podcast. You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook as well. Swords and Cannons podcast, man.
So we talked off air. The Bucks are your team. So let's just go ahead and I can start it out, man. What the hell is going on in Tampa Bay? They're letting everybody hang around in this division. Is Tom Brady just going to have a losing season and win a Super Bowl so he can say I'm the only quarterback to have a losing record and still win a Super Bowl? Is that Tom Brady's plan, Bigg Slim?
Man, that's an interesting point. I think deep down, Tom Brady would love to have that type of narrative, right? You know, he's a guy that defy all odds. But realistically, man, like, no, man, I think let me just put it like this. I think at the end of the day, man, it's definitely the offense is not, holding up the end of the bargain. I think we statistically have a top 10 defense. I just think the offense is not holding up the end of the bargain. And I think it's unfair that, the defense feel like they have to do more when the offense is not holding up the end of the bargain. It's all about complementary football. I think the offense the defense will be better statistically, in all things overall if the offense is holding up the end of the bargain. So is Tom Brady getting old? I mean, he's already old. That's not a question. But I think he's still playing a high level point of football, man. I think he's playing good football. I just think it's overall, man, if you want to just get down to the nitty-gritty, I think it's a disconnect between what Tom Brady likes to do and what the coaching like to do. So we'll put that out.
They won a Super Bowl just 2 years ago. And they made the playoffs last year and was a top team last year with the same offensive coordinator. So it's the same system. So shouldn't year 3 be the best year? And they added Russell Gage. They still got Mike Evans. I know Godwin's coming back from the ACL surgery. But I mean, this is a team that, made deep runs the last, 2 years. So like, I don't know if it's what is it? What is it there then?
I mean, at the end of the day, I think when you think about it, even when the Super Bowl year, even last year, and including this year, the offense, if you really watch the games, if you really follow the team, the offense still was, I would put it like this offense still was, underwhelming based on what we had and what we thought we had, what we claimed he had. You know, if you really follow the team, the defense won the Super Bowl. It wasn't the offense. I think Tom
Yeah,
Brady was game managing. I think you have the luxury of a Tom Brady that would not turn the ball over, would not make bad decisions. Basically, would not be a Jameis Winston, and that's what we needed with that type of defense, with that type of coaching. I just think it's a unique perspective if you have that, but at the same time, man, like when you think about it, man, like maybe Bruce Arians was the difference maker on certain decision making as far as the executive decision. We have a Todd Bowles that's making those executive decisions. Think
yeah,
about it. Byron Leftwich doesn't make the executive decisions. He's not, Byron Leftwich is not saying, "Hey, let's go for it here. Let's not go for it here. Let's do this and do this." It's Todd Bowles. So I think when you when you place an offensive minded guy, a no risk and no biscuit type of guy, with a guy that's more conservative, more defensive minded, more defensive type of guy that's, hey, we're gonna lean on the defense no matter what. It kind of puts the offense in a situation where they get castrated sometimes. The Browns game kind of showed that, where you have Todd Bowles say, "Hey, I didn't want Tom Brady to throw an interception in the last drive," when he's basically the best ratio in terms of ratio. He's the best quarterback in the NFL as far as touchdowns to interceptions.
him
And
and Aaron Rodgers. Yeah,
right, so you think about those executive decision makings, and you watch the game. Tom Brady wanted to go for it on that 4th and 2, man. He didn't want to try to draw them off outsides. He wanted to go for it. And when they didn't draw him outside and he started walking to the sideline, you can look at it. Go back and look at it. Tom Brady was cussing, like, "Hey, what the fuck? Like, we need to go for it. This is an opportunity for us to score points." And when you look at this situation, we never got back in that field position as far as being on in the Browns, field position ever again the rest of their game. So, um, man, Tom Brady, yeah, he's old, but I think he's seasoned. He's a seasoned grizzled vet. Like, I don't feel like the age or attrition has anything to do with where he's playing. I think other factors may have to do with that, but overall, man, like, you have to lean towards the narrative of it's the coaching. It's definitely the coaching. Like, and I think he said in his press conference in the presser that people are not seeing the same thing. And I think he was alluding to the coaching more or less than the players. You have coaches that seeing one thing versus Ty Bowles or even Byron Leftwich versus what he's seeing. And I think it's a disconnect on what Tom Brady wants to do versus what the coach is saying he need to do. So
So the reason I asked about Tom Brady, because to me he doesn't look like the Tom Brady, like the old. He looks like an old Tom Brady, not the old Tom Brady. And the reason I say that is because I caught the end of that game, and he had Mike Evans right on the outside, 1-on-1 on the outside. And my whole life, for the last 20, Tom Brady's been in the league 20 years plus. It seems like for 20 years he's been able to put that ball right on the bucket. Mike Evans, and he overthrew Mike Evans by about 2-3 yards instead of that perfect pass where he usually nails that perfect pass, right? And game over. You're like, that's the Tom Brady. Like, hey, it was good coverage, but Tom Brady just put it on a bucket to a good wide receiver, and that's how they win the game. Instead, he overthrows him. The game goes into overtime. I believe that was to get into at the end of regulation there in the fourth quarter was on that pass, and it just didn't happen. I know the offensive line is banged up. Tristan Wirfs got hurt in that game. What's that look like with the makeshift offensive line? And it seems like that's part of the reason, like Lenny Fournette can't quite get going. Now White couldn't really get going in the running game. They've been used a lot in the passing game, but it just seems like they're not running the ball as much or as very well to me either, from an outsider's perspective.
yeah, I mean, the run game definitely is suffering. Like, you would like us to run the ball more. I think play action could help with running the ball, definitely. And in both cases of running the ball and passing the ball, I think we're really good at play action. Obviously we don't do it as much. And I'm really cut from a cloth cut from a cloth that, hey, if you have a good run game, they make the play action more effective. But at the end of the day, you got to have more ingenuity in your offense, man. And with even with Leonard Fournette run out of the lineup this past game and halfway through the Seattle game, I think Rachaad White is doing a good job of you know toting that load, like being the RB1. I mean, you can't really say it's a drop off between Leonard Fournette and Rachaad White as far as the run game. That's when it really just come down to, okay, why aren't we running the ball? Why can't we run the ball? And that's why I kind of allude to maybe execution, maybe blocking. Is the offense is broken, man. Like, you can allude
It
to a
is.
lot of
Yeah.
things. It's
I,
broken.
I
And
said that before. I said their
yeah,
offense.
you did, like, it's broken. And you can point to a lot of things that are justified, but I think it's a collection of things, and I think it start with, in my mind, and I'm gonna stick to my guns on this. It start with the blocking and execution, because the thing is what I tell a lot of people is, what happened to the plays that we don't execute on? They are good plays. Like you say, when Tom Brady missed those throws and they're wide open throws, that means they're good plays. He missed Godwin up the seam against the Browns, overthrowing Mike Evans on certain plays. Those are good plays that guys are open that the one and only Tom Brady doesn't execute on. You have run plays that should work, but people don't block good. We asking receivers to block linebackers. That's a scheme and offensive coordinator problem. We're asking wide receivers to block linebackers. We're not using Cole Keith as a blocking tight end / fullback or H back. We have pieces. We're not using them correctly. We have a guy. A lot of people would say Rachaad White, if he was on another team, he'll be, more explosive than what he is, because he's a good running back. Like, it's undeniable. I think this
Yeah.
guy,
I,
Leonard Fournette. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I agree with you on White. The only reason I hate against him is just because I got Lenny Fournette on my fantasy team, so I don't want him to take over that backfield. But
Yeah.
by watching him though, he looks better than Lenny. Lenny looks like he just gets 3 yards and gets tackled.
Yeah.
He can catch the ball, but that's something you could to me. You could go with White now, and now you have Gianardi Bernard, and he could be your third down back, and let White take the 1-2, the first and second down back.
Yeah. I think Lenny's good. I think he's good at being a quarterback that Tom Brady can lean on, because he can play pass block good. He can catch out the backfield. I think he know how to be a running back for Tom Brady. But that doesn't necessarily equate to him being a good running back. Like, I think his ball carrier vision sucks. I think he can't see the hole as he should. That's where Rachaad White excel at. I think Rachaad White can really get the ball and move, get up in the second level. He's quicker with getting the ball off the handoff and getting to the second level.
More
He don't paddle
explosive,
pat.
yeah.
Yeah, he more explosive. He don't paddle pat his feet at the line of scrimmage like you see Leonard Fournette do. But to compensate with that fault, what Leonard Fournette do, Leonard Fournette can pass block good. He can catch out the ball. He can catch, stuff like that. But I think Rachaad White can do all those things as well. He's not as heavy in the back end, heavy as a person that Leonard Fournette is as far as pass blocking. But I mean, I think you can ask Rachaad White to do the same thing as Leonard Fournette, and you won't see that much of a drop off. Like, and even then, I think you'll get a more production out of the run game out of Rachaad White. And that's nothing against Leonard Fournette. It's just, you got to think about Leonard Fournette is what, in his 6th year. Rachaad White is his rookie year. He got fresh legs, fresh everything. He's more explosive. To your point, it is, and to your point about having Gio Bernard back, and that adds another element to our running back room as far as what Tom Brady like to do, having a running back that can really catch out the backfield. I think Gerald Bernard is the better third down passing catch. No, basically a guy that you can use as out the backfield is catching the ball out the backfield. I think Gerald Bernard is one of those better better running backs that can do it. So when you think about third down, you bring Gerald Bernard in. I think that adds another element to our offense that we didn't really have. So in that offense, man, and I think health, getting guys healthy, man. You talk about Mike Evans and Julio Jones and Russell Gage was really the goal on having these guys on the field all at one time, and we literally haven't had these guys we haven't had these guys on the field at the same time, all season. When you talk about the complement, and I'm excluding Chris Godwin, but think about it: Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Julio Jones, and Russell Gage. That's our top four. How many times or how many games or how many reps have these four guys played together? And I think that was the plan. And we haven't had that complement of wide receivers all season. And even with this game and last game, we still haven't had all these guys on the field. So, man, it's a combination of a lot of things, man. But overall, I think that's why a lot of guys really still point at the play calling and the offensive coordinator on like, hey, you got to work with what you have. You have to use the ingenuity on what you have and be able to scheme these guys open and be able to use certain guys for certain situations. And I think with that, and also having a defensive minded coach that's not offensive, that doesn't have the offensive, acumen to take chances and roll the dice on the offense is castrating the offense as well. Because, man, I think in the end of the day, I think Tom Brady want to take certain chances, but he's not going to overrule Leftwich. He's not going to overrule Bowles. And he has to be a quarterback to his coaches. And I think that's what he said in his press conference. I think that's what he meant about everyone is not seeing the same thing. And I think that's the source of the frustration with him and the coaching staff. And I think it's coming to here. And I think as fans and as podcasters, we're not, just because we're not on the coaching staff and we're fans don't mean we dumb. We see it. Like, we know it's something wrong and it's not clicking. Like, it's not. And everything is showing it. Like, it's not clicking.
You alluded to it. I mean, I'm looking at I didn't realize how bad it was. I said a couple weeks ago, I thought their offense was broken. They've only broke 31 times this whole season. That was against Kansas City, and it was a loss when they lost 31-41. They're averaging, I would say, about 20 a game. Their next highest after that 31 was another loss where they lost 22-27 to the Ravens. And that's it. I mean, rest of they're scoring 21, 23. You look at, they're in the teens. And so obviously some of those games they won, but they're not putting up. I mean, with you named all and I know that they haven't had the reps, but man, like, it's inept, man. Their offense is just inept. So, like, what's your prediction kind of going forward for this team the next 5 games? The division's still wide open. I'm looking at the standings right now. I mean, they're 5-6. Atlanta's 5-7, so they're only a game back. Carolina's 4-8, and the Saints are 4-8, and they're all just right there. Like, what's your prediction kind of going forward here with the Bucs? Like, I think everybody still believes in this team to win this division because who their quarterback is.
My prediction is we just hope that everyone else keep losing games. Like, it's the best of the worst, man. Like, it's I honestly feel like we're no better than anyone else in the division, man. Like, we just fortunate to be on top. I feel like it's a thin margin between leading division and literally being out of the playoff race. Like, if the Falcons or who's really can give us a chance? The Falcons. I mean, I think
Atlanta's about it to me. I mean, the other two teams, like, are you putting I wouldn't bet money on none of them.
Yeah. I mean, nobody went bet. Man, between me and you, bro, like I think we are as good as everyone else is losing. Like
Yeah,
as long as the Saints, Falcons, and the Carolina and the Panthers are losing, we're okay. I think it gives us justification to keep losing because they still put us in first place. Like
we,
clearly, we're the better team, but we can't we can't show it. We can't stand on it. So for us, man, like the prediction, I think we make the playoffs. I really do think we win the division in whatever fashion we do it. We win the division, we make the playoffs, but then you only can hope that we got players back healthy, whatever. Like you got Logan Ryan coming back. Hopefully Tristan Wirfs be back and be able to be serviceable. Of course, Ryan Jensen. I said that during in the off season, like it's like one of those situations with Vita Vea last season. He came back next to the last game. Like he came back in the Packers game, and that's one of those things where it's just a total long shot. If he do come back, he can, but is he searchable? I just already rid off Ryan Jensen, like clearly he's out for the season. My prediction is, man, deep down, we win the division somehow, some way. We eke it out, and shit. It depends on who is we. This how I put it. Anything can happen in the playoffs, man. We just need to get to the playoffs because like at the end of the day, I think coaching staff and a lot of people understand it. Like if you get in the like what Bruce Arians used to say, we get in the tournament, anything can happen. So if we can win this division and get in the playoffs, that's our best bet because at the end of the day, we do have a Tom Brady. We do have a top 10 defense. We do have Mike Evans. We do have a Julio Jones when he's healthy. I think he's down there more explosive than Mike Evans because he has
with
yak
the problem.
ability.
I mean, the problem with Julio. I mean, when was the last time he was healthy? Like when the Falcons went to the Super Bowl. It's about the last time. Julio was like fully healthy to
Yeah.
me. Like he just hasn't been being right. Your last remaining games, you control your own destiny. Which at that point, because you have 3 division games, I'm just peeping at the schedule here. You got the Saints this Monday, and we'll get into that game when we do our picks here in a little bit.
Mhm.
Then you got to the 49ers. To me, that's probably a loss. Like I would take the 49ers in that game. Uh, as good as the 49ers are playing, because you got to go. Then you got the Bengals to come to town. That's probably another game where you're probably not favored to win. As good as the Bengals have looked with Joey Burrow. Then you got Arizona. Then you go to Arizona. That's a winnable game. Arizona's not good. Then the Panthers come to town, and then you go to Atlanta to finish out the season. And that game could very well be for the winner takes the division.
Yeah. But to what you said, I think all those games are toss up because we lost to bad teams. You know what I mean? Like so
That's true.
Arizona is a toss up. Carolina is a toss up. The
They
Bengals.
beat you once already. They
Yeah,
beat you. Yeah.
and the thing is, man, like even with all the games you mentioned, we can we we could win those games, but we usually find a way to lose those games. So with every game you name, I think deep down as a Buck fan, and I'm not even being biased as a Buck fan. I'm just really just analyzing the team versus the opponent. We should be able to win those games, honestly. But we've proven that we can lose to bad teams. So when you talk about the Bengals and you talk about, all these other teams, we just lost to the Browns. Like it's not much faith there to feel like, okay, we can go into a game and feel like we should win. We lost to the Browns, we lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers, we lost to the Carolina Panthers when they basically fire sale all their best players. Their best player in Christian McCaffrey on offense. So
Fired their coach and everybody.
yeah, man. So it don't leave a lot of confidence to say that hey, we should win these games. Or I think every game is a toss up until the end of the season. And even with saying it, I think we still can come out and win the division, man. That's the whole conundrum. It's like it's weird, man. So the thing is with me, I just feel like something has to click. I think it, something has to happen, man. It's just I won't say we're a bad team. I think we're a bad offensive team. The defense is good. The defense is the top 10. If people want to talk about the defense, we're a top 10 defense. We are holding teams to scores that based on the offense we claim we have, we should be we should be winning. We holding teams to really 18, less than 20 points a game. That's a winning defense. We just can't get over the hump offensively. And that's where a lot of people allude to is like what happened from year 1 and year 2 of Brady to year 3 without Bruce Arians, and then it just like everything just go down the drain. So man, and I don't know, man. I don't know. It's frustrating to watch. It's I watch every game. I watch every snap, and it just the defense, man. I mean, not the defense, but the offense. It just it's man. It just it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to watch, man. It's hard to put your finger on it because, like I tell a lot of people, yeah, the play calling and the coaching, yeah, but it's plays where there'll be the right plays and we just don't execute. Brady either
Yeah.
don't make the play, don't make the pass, or Mike Evans drop a pass. You know, like the Carolina game, he drop a wide open pass, and you can just feel the morale get sucked at the team, and we'll never be the same after that. So we just a bad offense. I'm not saying we're bad.
I relate.
We're a
As
bad
a Packers
offense,
fan, I
man.
relate. I relate.
We're
As a
bad.
Packers
You're a
fan, I
Packer fan.
relate.
We're just a
Yeah.
bad offense,
So,
man.
yeah. I
We don't
relate.
score points. Listen to what
Yeah.
the players and the coaches telling you, man. Like a lot of people make their own narratives, and I'm one of the guys that I pay attention to what the coaches and players saying, and they're saying it. We don't score no points. We don't execute. It's hard to say, play calling is an issue where we don't execute on the plays that should work. And we see plays that would work if somebody would make the throw or somebody would make the catch or certain run blocking isn't good. Like certain plays will work. It just and we knew going into the season the offensive line would have been a problem. We knew it. Like we absent of Ryan Jensen, we absent of Allen Marpet through the retirement, and the next up was Aaron Stanley, and he get hurt. So now we have to play Luke Gadecki, which is a second round pick, but he's not up for the challenge. So
And
we
now your first round pick last year, Tristan Wirfs, is out.
now
I mean,
he's out, and now
yeah,
we playing
he
Josh Wells, and our offensive line is decimated. And I tell a lot of people that's reason why. Think about it. It's a reason why Tom Brady has 2 interceptions on the season, and he's throwing the ball once a full second faster than last season, the season before then, because he knows that he doesn't have an offensive line that can hold. He doesn't have an offensive line that he can give him the time to push the ball down the field. You got to think about it. He's a 45-year-old quarterback. He's not going to sit back and take shots throwing the ball down the field. He's gonna look for gonna make his first read. If that's not going on, he's dumping the ball off. We're the fifth worst team in yards per pass attempt. That means that we're checking the ball down. If it was the fifth worst, that means we're the fifth best team in checking the ball down. We're not throwing the ball down the field. We're not pushing the ball. It's no risk and no biscuit at all. So Tom Brady is making best decisions every time he hiked the ball. We're checking the ball down more than any fifth. We're checking the ball down the fifth most in the league. We're not pushing the ball down the field. Uh, and I think that because of he knows his interior line is not good. There's also add to why we can't run the ball because we don't have good run blocking, and also due to the scheme, we're asking wide receivers to block linebackers. Look at the Browns game. You see a good block by Julio Jones come off the slot and hit one of the linebackers. It's a good block, but why are we asking Julio Jones to block a linebacker? Like, what's going on? Like I don't see teams asking their wide receivers to do that when they're running the ball.
I've seen the Packers. I mean, the Packers are notorious for having good wide receivers who can block. Like especially on the screen game and things like that. So I get what you're saying. Slim, before we ask you one more question and then we'll get into our picks, we got some comments coming here. Shargy says the best teams have a good offense line. I don't see, I mean, 100%. You look at the best teams
Start in
at the
the
end of the year,
trenches.
yeah, starts in the trenches. Good. You got to two things. It's beginning since the beginning of time of football. You got to do two things. You got to be able to run the football and you got to be able to stop the run. And you look at the best teams at the end of every year, they can do both of those things, whether it be various ways, but they can get it done. My man Craig, one of my co-hosts normally, he says Brady needs Gronk in that offense. I mean, you agree? Like, is that the missing ingredient? Gronk?
I think Gronk is missed. Definitely. Like it's not a guy that it's no one that follows the Buccaneers or being a Buccaneer fan won't say that we're not missing Gronk. We are bleeding because of we don't have a person like Gronk. Gronk is a true Y tight end that can block and pass catch. We don't have a guy like that, in our offense. Like it's not a guy like that. Bray is not that. K Allen is good, but he's not a Gronk. We need someone that can do both sides. And when you think about Gronk and Brady, at the end of the day, that's like backyard football for them. It's like Mahomes and Kelsey. Like, you don't need to play for them. Like this, hey, go get open. I'm gonna find you. Like if Kelsey see Mahomes scrambling, Kelsey knows how to get open for Mahomes when he's scrambling. Like it's a continuity thing. Brady doesn't have that at the tight end position. So you saw the instant continuity when Gronk was in the lineup, and it's just certain plays that Brady didn't give a fuck what Mike Evans or Godwin was doing. He was just throwing the ball to Gronk, like, hey, just get open. They knew what to do. So we are missing it, but at the same time, man, like once again, when you talk about an offensive coordinator that understands you have that deficiency at tight end, how can you scheme? How can you put it in the game plan to say, okay, we have this tight end, we have Cam Brake, or we have a K Arden that's rising up in talent or trending upwards in potential. How can we get those guys open? It's not happening. Is it Brady not comfortable with those guys? Brady don't trust those guys, or are they not as good as Gronk? And you can say that. Like Cam Brake doesn't belong in the same conversation as Gronk.
Well, I mean, Gronk's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the top 5 best tight ends of all time. So I mean,
be mindful of what you're asking for from other guys compared to a guy that's a Hall of Famer. So those things you need to keep mindful of. It's one of the things that I did a podcast with my guy Robert Green at the Outside Leverage, man. It's one of the things where when you had the Alan Marpet, the Ryan Jensen on the offensive line, and you had Antonio Brown and a Rob Gronkowski, you had talent more than tech. I think now the tech is showing void of the talent. You don't have the talented tight end. You don't have Antonio Brown that can get open and beat one-on-one. And I would tell everybody, Antonio Brown was the best receiver on our offense. Like, Antonio Brown can get separation and can beat one-on-ones all day long. I love Mike Evans.
Especially when you're in the inside, especially when you're on the inside, right?
I
like
love
he was in that slot. To me, Russell Gage has been a disappointment. I expected him to have a huge year, kind of like that, filling in that Antonio Brown role, and it just didn't. It hasn't,
Nah, with Russell Gage, I don't think we brought Russell Gage in to be anything like that. I think Russell Gage is brought in to do to fill in the void where we were expecting out of Tyler Johnson, to be that kind of third, fourth guy, like just a guy that we can lean on other than a Mike Evans or a Chris Godwin. And then we brought Julio Jones in. Okay, well, now we got a certified third guy. Because we trying to
even Julio could have been.
Yeah, so we trying to make up their production from Gronk. But with Russell Gage, he was a guy, because we signed him. We signed him to a 3-year contract, $30 million contract. I think with Russell Gage, man, he's one of those guys that we're not expecting to be a Antonio Brown or anything like that. We're expecting him to be a steady Eddie as a certified third option, no matter what. And I think Russell Gage is good. I think Russell Gage been hurt. I think he's had that You got to think about it. Russell Gage been dealing with a hamstring since the offseason, and he limped into the season. And and look at it. every injury he's had throughout the season has been that same hamstring. And you think about it, you ask players, when you live into the season, you stay hurt throughout the season. He's not been able to be in the lineup because he caught that hamstring injury in the offseason, and he just simply been able to can't get over the hump off that hamstring injury. So I don't think he's been a disappointment because he's been able to play like he should. That's the same thing as saying Julio been a disappointment, but Julio been hurt. So you can't really say that because now when he's on the field,
I personally didn't have a lot of high hopes for Julio just because of the injury situation that he's been riddled with the last 3 years or so. My expectations of Julio was lower compared to what Russell Gage's production was going to be, in my opinion. I'm going to ask you this one more question, then we'll get into the picks here. So, I mean, we're all kind of agreement. I feel like Johnny probably too, that this team's going to win the division. If they win the division,
yeah, by default, I ain't gonna front.
Yeah,
by default,
yeah.
but it's all good. And I was just saying, what's going on, Bigg Slim, Nick? What's up, fellas? I appreciate you letting me on, but not for nothing, but putting Russell Gage and the Antonio Brown sentences like comparing Bray to Gronk. Like, you don't do that. Antonio Brown.
I get what you're saying.
Antonio Brown is a dude. Bro. He's a dude.
Yeah,
I figured Chris was gonna be happy about me coming back on the show.
Hey,
I came over here for Nick and for you, Chris, so you can keep that streak going, bro.
I agree, Johnny. Like, no.
Yeah.
I like him, but he's not like he was not the choice to replace that at all.
So if they win the division, they're gonna play they would play the Cowboys if the season ended today.
Right.
At home.
Mm-hmm.
Is that one and done for the Bucs, or you think they could beat the Cowboys?
Who going first?
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No, you got it, John.
I think they can beat the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys D is really good. I'm a big fan of Micah Parsons. Their defensive coach has them balling out. But they did give up 30 something to your Packers. So they are hit and miss sometimes. And I'm not, if they're not able to establish the running game, then I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not the biggest believer of Dak, to be quite honest. I mean, he's a good player, but I don't think he's like an elite quarterback. So I think if Brady and the offense can get something going and that defense can actually play like they're supposed to play, I think they could beat. I definitely think they could beat the Cowboys at home.
I agree.
You got them beating the Cowboys round one.
Yeah, I agree.
You just said when we were earlier. Hey, every game is a toss-up. The Arizona game, and now you're saying they could beat the Cowboys.
I think they could beat the Cowboys. I mean, like I said, every game is a toss-up.
Right.
And even if we play,
they could also get blown out. You know what I'm saying? But they have a chance to win. I think they can upset the Cowboys. That's probably their best matchup, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think every game is a toss-up. It's any given Sunday, man. Every game is a toss-up, and especially with us because we've proven that we can lose to bad teams. But
100%.
At the same time, I think you get in a playoff situation, and I think you say, okay. Because every game in the playoff is a Super Bowl. Like, you got to go for broke. Like, it's not like, okay, we're just gonna do this and think it's gonna be another game. Like, no, it's win or go home.
It is.
I think we could beat the Cowboys, and this is why I tell you why. I think we could beat the Cowboys because the Cowboys doesn't have a good run defense. So I think, like the first game of the season, we can establish the run and we can move the ball just like how we did the Seahawks. If we can get the run game going to a point where we can keep the defense on its toes to the point where they have to account for it and they have to respect it. I think that opens up what we can do. I think it just really comes down to execution. I think as far as the Cowboys offense, it all falls on Dak. And that's the Johnny point that Dak he's good.
Yeah, I'm not picking Dak over Tom Brady. I don't care how Tom Brady looks in the regular season.
But you gotta think about it, Johnny. Shit, Jacoby Brissett just beat Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the
yeah.
regular season and the
PJ
playoffs are
Walker beat
different,
Tom
bro.
Brady.
PJ
I mean,
Walker beat Tom Brady.
The playoffs are different, yo. The
beat
playoffs
Tom
are
Brady.
different. I'm a
They-
Dolphin fan, and I'm defending Tom Brady. This is
they
hard.
can't
This
score.
is
They
hard
can't,
for me.
I
But
think
they
I
can't
mean,
score.
I
They
think
can't
man,
score.
I think we match up to the Cowboys good. I think when it's just certain teams that no matter what you just match up good to, and I think that's why we have a lot of problem with the Saints. Like even though the Saints not a good team, they match up good with us and they give us hell.
that's a divisional game too.
Yeah, but it's those games. Like you got to think about it. Divisional teams draft on the division opponents because the key is to win the division to get to the playoffs. So it starts there. I think the Saints is not a good team, but they match up really good to us. Like they know how to exploit us because we had the target on our back the last 2 seasons. So
I'm
man,
gonna take I probably right now lean towards the Cowboys.
Facts, Craig.
That's just Craig laid a good comment here. He said in the playoffs, who you taking, Brady or McCarthy? Obviously, we want Brady. I ain't taking Mike McCarthy, but the Bucs haven't looked good. I mean, we just all kind of said it.
True.
I mean, their offense. I mean, me and Bigg Slim spent the last 40 minutes and they ain't scored 30 points, but one time. So there's that. Let's go ahead. Let's get into it. Let's get into this week's games. Let's recap from last week. So I finally turned it around. Had a winning week. I went 8-7. Johnny,
Nice.
you beat me by 1 game. You went 9-6. And then Bobby G, 10-5. So Bobby G with the huge week. Craig had his 10-5. So Bobby G with the huge week. Craig had his 10-5. Craig went 7-8. Huge week. So let's go ahead. We'll get into this week's games. Let me pull it up here. So Craig had his first losing season in a while, 7-8, or worst week in a couple of weeks. So stop.
Yeah. I was about to say, as soon as I start betting what he tells me to bet, that's a losing week. It's all good, man. I still got love for you, Craig.
Let's get into it. Tomorrow night's games. The Bills head to the Patriots. Patriots 4-point favorite headed into Foxborough. Both these teams, it's not really a short week. Both teams played obviously on Thanksgiving. Bigg Slim, we'll start with you, brother. Who you like here? You like the Bills at -4. You taking the Patriots at +4 at home?
No, man, I'm taking the Bills, man. Obviously, man. I think the Patriots is really good. I think Bill Belichick is really good at defensively taking advantage of not good offensive teams. But the Bills just have too much firepower, man. I think the Bills just kind of just overcome the Patriots, man. I think the Patriots just can't keep up as far as offensively, man. Let the defensively is gonna do what they do, but I just think the Bills just can put up more points than the Patriots at the end of the day. So I'm going with the Bills.
Johnny, what about you, man? How you like this one?
I completely agree with Slim on that one. I mean, I'm pretty sure Bill Belichick will come up with a pretty good scheme to try to slow down the Bills. But, I mean, New England might not even score.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, their offense, I mean, dude, their offense. Come on, man. Mac Jones?
Nah.
Come on,
No
bro.
Von Miller for the Bills.
Yeah, but is Damian Harris, is Harris playing, or he's hurt, ain't he? So it's just Stevenson in the backfield. Nah, man. Like I said,
they scored 20 points against the Vikings. They should have won that game.
Well, I mean, that's fine. They could score 20 points, and Buffalo will score 25, and they'll win by they'll cover the spread.
Yeah, and then the crazy thing about it, Detroit took them down to the wire Thanksgiving.
Yes.
I had that one.
But see, Detroit could put up points.
I love Detroit. Detroit is one of those teams that, man, if they, I think this draft, because they're gonna probably get the top 5, and they're gonna get some good draft position because they got the Rams draft.
They got the Rams pick too. Yeah,
so they got the Rams pick. But Detroit, I like Detroit. Detroit is one of them teams that they get a couple more pieces.
Gritty.
Detroit is gonna be a team to deal with because they got a lot of talent. But in this game, I just think New England offensively just doesn't have the firepower to keep up with Buffalo. When it just come down to it,
I went with New England last week and they let me down. I'm riding with the GOAT, Bill Belichick, one more time, baby. We're at home and they can do it, baby. Let's go, Bill. I like Buffalo's money line, but give me the Patriots with +4.
+4. I mean,
that's not a bad bet.
It's not a bad bet.
It could easily be 27-0.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying.
It could be.
Absolutely.
Hey, let's get into the next one here. Steelers head to the Atlanta in a pick'em game. Kenny Pickett, Johnny looked pretty good. I thought Monday night, at least for the first half. Who knows what Atlanta team shows up? I mean, is it Mariota throwing passes on his back, or is it the smart Mariota? Johnny, how you like this one? It's a pick'em game.
I mean, you basically said it right there. As far as Atlanta is just up and down. It's Marcus Mariota. You don't know what you're gonna get. I thought Atlanta was gonna win last week, and they just laid an egg. I think Pittsburgh should have honestly just started Kenny Pickett from jump and just let him take his lumps the first couple of weeks, and they probably would be playing, or at least be a little closer in the division. So I'm all over Pittsburgh on this one. I'm gonna ride with Mike Tomlin and Kenny Pickett and George Pickens.
Whoa, I'm going with Atlanta on this one, man. I have to challenge you on that one. I'm going with Atlanta, man. I think Atlanta can move the ball. I think they can score. I just think Atlanta lost. Like last game, they lost unfortunately. I think Atlanta was the better team last game. I think I take Atlanta with this, man. I think Pittsburgh is really just they're gonna live or die on Kenny Pickett as if Atlanta Falcons is living it down on Marcus Mariota. But I think Atlanta. But you think about it, they without Kyle Pitts, but I don't think Kyle Pitts was a factor in any of the win or losses they had this season. I think
they don't use him.
No,
they
all they do is run the ball.
Right. So, I think Kyle Pitts in a bad situation with Atlanta, but I'm going with Atlanta on this. I think Atlanta can eke it out. I think Atlanta has more offense than Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh defense is better, but I think Atlanta can figure out a way to score just enough points, and that's why the spread is 1 and plus. I think the spread is so tight. I think Atlanta can. Yeah, I think Atlanta can get this out. It's going to be a close game.
Here's what's going to happen. The Falcons are going to have the ball. Minute and a half, 2 minutes left. Mariota's going to try to run. Big hit by TJ Watt. He fumbles it. Pittsburgh gets it. They either run it in for a touchdown or they're going to end up in field goal range. Give me the Steelers, baby.
Hey. Yeah. But yeah, man, that's a toss-up game, man.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of
FanDuel, I don't even bet on this game as far as the money line. Like, I don't know who will win.
Yeah.
It's really a toss-up.
Let's get into my crappy Packers as they go to even a worse Bears. The Bears are 4.5 dogs slim at home. Doesn't look like Fields is playing again. Aaron Rodgers is a full go, according to what he was saying on the Pat McAfee show on Tuesday. Broken thumb, banged up ribs, but Aaron owns the Bears. Do you like the Packers at -4.5?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I the Bears, man, just keep it in mind, like you say, if Justin Fields ain't playing, I don't even know who their backup quarterback is. So is it Foles? Is it? I don't know who it is.
No, it's Trevor Siemian.
Oh my God. No.
Did you see what the Jets just did to them, man?
You might as well have me at backup quarterback. So no, man. I take the Packers, man, because even then, if Aaron Rodgers don't play or he don't make it out, they got Jordan Love, and I think Jordan Love looked pretty good.
The kid looked
good when he came in, man.
Decent. Yeah,
he looked decent. I won't say he looked good, but he looked decent. I think
he looked improved from what we saw last year. That's what I'll say.
And that's a conversation for another day, far as what the Green Bay
we could
Packers want
spend
to do
another
in the
2
future.
hours. I could spend 2 hours on that. So yeah,
Absolutely. I know you're about to Green Bay. I would love to have a conversation about the Packers and their future and what they got going on.
hey,
But
go ahead. We can bring.
That's
I'll
a fun conversation right there.
yeah, hell yeah. All you gotta do is let me know. But I'm going with the
Anytime.
Packers on this. I think the Packers cover the spread. I think the Packers cover the whole thing, man. Yeah, I think the Packers just win, man. I think at the end of the day, without Justin Fields, Chicago has no offense. And that's been the whole high point of the Chicago these recent weeks because of what Justin Fields never put in his leg. So absent of Justin Fields, they don't have an offense. So I think Aaron Rodgers and whatever was health and condition he is, he will them to victory. And I think they cover the spread. I think they do it.
Johnny, what's your thought?
I completely agree with that, man. I mean, I actually like Jordan Love, you know what I'm saying? And he's had time to learn behind Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers ain't trying to not be on that field. Like you said, he owns the Chicago Bears, and with no Justin Fields, there's no offense in Chicago. And I think Mooney's out too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Eddie Jackson,
Eddie
Jackson in the secondary, it's over.
Yeah, I'll take the Packers big time here. They win by at least a touchdown, man, if not more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Craig, the resident Bear fan, says no Fields again. Bears' entire secondary is hurt. Tides are turning the north, but not yet. Unfortunately, Packers win and covers. So
he's right. I agree, Craig.
Yep.
This is the first time in about a month, boys. I'm picking the Packers. God, don't let me down, baby. Don't let me down. It's first time in a month. Slim, I had a whole funeral for this team on this podcast. I mean, lighting candles, but come on, baby. We own. Aaron, go in. Oh, show them that you still own them. Show them that you got it. Everybody's talking about how we should play the kid and everything else. Aaron, do it one more time in Chicago, baby. One more time.
Yeah, the kid could play the fourth quarter when you're up like 20.
Let's hope so. Hey, I hope so. Let's get into another real toss-up game. This is a straight pick 'em. The Jags coming off the upset win against the Ravens again, and the Lions, who really they won 2, and then they lost a crushing loss to the Bills on Thanksgiving. Slim, how you see this one? Another just straight pick 'em across the board here. Again, this is a real toss-up because I couldn't tell you who is going to win, but from the sounds of it, you like the Lions, what you were saying earlier?
Absolutely. I tell you, I'm going with the Lions. I can stamp it, take it to the bank. I'm going with the Lions. Jacksonville got lucky with the Ravens because Lamar Jackson just missed some throws. Like, if Lamar Jackson connect with those throws, they win. And it's a testament to what everyone is saying about Lamar. Extreme athlete, but he just missed throws, man, and he missed them to the point where it just be like, Jesus, like it's not even like he's throwing, he's not throwing, he's throwing the ball where the receiver's covering. He had to throw it in the keyhole. He's missing wide open throws. He's just making bad throws, and I think that was the difference maker in beating the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't think Jacksonville beat the Ravens. I think the Ravens just couldn't beat Jacksonville. So, in that respect, I say, once again, like I tell you, man, how I feel about Detroit. Detroit beat Jacksonville. They do it conventionally. They cover the spread. Absolutely.
Because it's a half a game, half a point.
I think Detroit covers spread more definitely. Like, I think they really good. They can do it. And you got to think about Jacksonville. Travis Etienne is maybe hurt. He got that foot problem with the same foot he hurt.
They said he'll be back. He'll be back.
But how good, how healthy, and even then, I just think Detroit is gonna pull this off, man. I think they cover the spread most definitely. Like, I'm definitely betting on this for the spread bet and everything else. I'm going with Detroit, man.
I'm riding with Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they're gonna ride the momentum of that win over the Ravens, like you were mentioning. I like Lamar Jackson, the athlete. I'm not a big fan of Lamar Jackson, the quarterback. Like you said, he's missing wide open. I mean, he was having a great first few games, and there was so much talk about MVP, but I mean, reality winds up hitting them to where when he needs to make that throw, he can't make that throw.
Yeah.
And I think Jacksonville, I think they're going to ride that momentum from that big win. Detroit is going to play tough. This is going to be a tight game, but I mean, it's half a point. So, I mean, like you said, it's a pick 'em. So I'm going to say Jacksonville squeaks it out, probably a last-second field goal or something. And Jackson, I'm going to take Jacksonville, man. I'm going to ride with Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence. He actually looked like the number 1 pick last week.
Whoa.
So you like Jacksonville?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Jacksonville.
Yeah, I thought Trevor Lawrence looked the best he's ever looked in NFL. I haven't seen him look that good since he was beating Alabama in the national title game. But Craig's saying he's taking the Lions at home, won 3 straight, then lost a close one to the Bills. Even with the loss last week, I think they figured some things out. So Craig likes the Lions at home. I'm with you guys. I think if this game was in Jacksonville, I'd probably take the Jags, but I feel like the Lions got more momentum. Nice win last week for Jacksonville. I do credit a lot Doug Peterson and his big old cojones going for 2. But the Lions got a little bit more to play for. They can still make this make the playoffs. They need a little help, but they're getting hot.
Playoffs.
I'm pounding the
playoffs.
The thing is, all right, let me ask you this, Johnny.
Key up the Jim Mora clip.
Let me ask you
playoffs?
This, Johnny. Let me ask you this, Johnny. Let me ask you this, Johnny. If Detroit beat the Bills last week, would they change their mind? Because they had the Bills on here. So if Detroit beat Buffalo last week, would they have any impact on your decision today?
Maybe, but the Detroit's been doing this all year where they make games interesting at the end.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can't question on that one, man.
You know what I'm saying? I give it to them. They fight and they battle. They don't give up. But I'm going to take Trevor Lawrence over Jared Goff. So ultimately, I think Trevor Lawrence makes a couple more plays to win this game, and it's absolutely no point. So again, it's going to be a tight one, but I think Trevor Lawrence makes just enough plays to beat a gritty Detroit Lions team. Like I said, I think, they get a couple good picks this coming year. I think they're going to, they're going to cause some problems in that division next year, but not this year, man. I think, I think they dropped this one.
Fair enough.
Welcome to the show, friend of the program. You guys, man who needs no introduction. Co-host of Buffoon and Bodkins, my main man, Tanner Dawson.
What's up, guys?
What up?
Johnny,
you invite, he just opens the door himself and comes on in.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna click in. If he lets me join, great. If he doesn't, I'll just sit here and watch for a minute. So, Johnny, your take here on Trevor Lawrence, man, you're just proving the more of the point of why you always say don't listen to me for betting advice on Sundays. So it's Detroit all the way. That's all I got to say.
Okay,
Detroit, man, Detroit.
All right, we'll see.
Want to win some money? Go Detroit, man. I think Detroit take it.
Yeah. Hey, we'll get into the next one here. We got Jets at the Vikings. Jets a 3-point dog going to Minnesota. Mike White is hot as all white. Tanner, we'll let you take this first pick here. How you like this one? The Mike White 1-0 Mike White Jets headed to Minnesota, 3-point dogs.
Just like we saw the first time around with Mike White, this is where Mike White starts his downfall for a little bit because the Vikings are at home. They got a lot to still prove here to keep up with that 2 seed going into play in the NFC. And with it only being a 3-point spread too, I love the Vikings coming into play. I love the Vikings, Justin Jefferson, that offense going against that tough Jets defense. But I think the Jets offense's stalls this week. They're not playing against a backup Bears quarterback, which we all know was not good going into play. So give me the Vikings on this game here to not just win. I think they win by a couple of TDs.
Slim, are you surprised this spread's not a little higher? Because, I mean, Minnesota's just not getting no respect this year. Johnny gives them no respect. Are you giving Minnesota some respect here with -3 as they host the Jets?
I think the spread could be higher, but at the end of the day, the Jets are playing good. I mean, you got to think about the Jets as a written record. You know, like they're not a bad team
They're
per
not the
se. As
Jets
far as,
that we're used to. Yes.
yeah, so I think the spread is a little premature on being realistic on. I think if the spread was like maybe 5, it'd be a little more realistic. But I mean, even then, I think it's a realistic spread. I think 3 points is because the game could come down to a field goal or whatnot. So I think the spread is right in line for what we're talking about, especially before Sunday. Um, I I mean, yeah, like for me, let's go against the grain. I take the Jets.
Just
I'm
so,
taking the
just
Jets.
remember too, the Jets are fighting for one of those 2 playoff spots going to play, and they have a really tough schedule as well to finish out the season. So
That was a hell of a crossover right there, Slim.
Yeah, I'm taking the Jets, man. I'm taking the Jets because the thing is, the Jets is not a bad team. I think Zach Wilson just wasn't a good quarterback. I think Zach
Or he's
Wilson.
not a good quarterback. He's not a good quarterback.
He's not. I think the Jets made a huge fail drafting him. What, number 2 overall?
Yeah, it should have been
over a lot
Justin
of guys?
Fields. It should have been Justin Fields.
And it's kind of like you get the feel, you get the feel for like how the Giants drafted Daniel Jones over other guys. Like you just want to draft a figurehead type of quarterback when you know he's not the better quarterback of what's available. Zach Wilson, like he's out of BYU, like no, like you're not the second. You wasn't. You're not. You just wasn't.
You ain't Steve Young.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
So
that's right. Yeah,
I think
you're not even Ty Dittmer.
right. So I think with what's the guy name? Mike
White.
Mike White. I think what he can do is utilize the offense better than Zach Wilson. I think Zach Wilson is one of those guys that he just depend on. He's like the Lamar Jackson situation, an athlete versus a quarterback. Like I think Zach Wilson depend on just running around, making things happen, being impromptu.
Zach Wilson depended on Corey Davis, and Corey Davis has been out. So without Corey Davis, he doesn't go to anybody else.
But then again, Zach Wilson was never a quarterback that really just sat back, drop back, run through his progressions and make the right call. He was just a guy that was able to run around and make throws, kind of a makeshift Mahomes. And I think that's what a lot of teams was looking for. Like, let me get a guy that can make plays, but this is not at BYU. This is the NFL. Everybody's good now. Like, so I think Zach Wilson kind of fell under the bridge on that. But with Mike White and with what he showed, what he can do with that offense, and the Jets have a solid team. Like, I'm not saying the Jets can make the playoffs. So I think I'm going with the upset here. I'm going with the unpopular opinion, not because I don't think Minnesota is not a good team, but I think Minnesota can be beat. I think Minnesota is one of them teams that's going to start to cool off toward the end of the season. Like, okay, you're not an 8-2 team. You just, hey, you can be beat. You got guys like Philadelphia they're showing you, hey, I'm a 10-1 team. I don't think Minnesota is a bona fide 8-2, 9-2 team. So I'm going with the Jets on this one, man. I'm going with the Jets. I'm saying
it ain't unpopular. I'm riding with the Jets too. I can't believe I'm saying it as a Dolphin fan.
Johnny's going with the Jets.
I'm going with the Jets. The Jets have that defense is legit. I think they're gonna put pressure on Kirk Cousins, and not for nothing. I thought Sauce would be pretty good, but he's actually like Sauce is balling out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Sauce Gardner is playing great at corner. Yeah. Reed is playing really good at the other corner. Salah's got that team believing and playing. They just needed somebody who wasn't gonna shit the bed like Zach was.
Yeah.
And everybody's rallying behind Mike White. He don't need to throw 300 yards for them to win.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? He just happened to do that last week against an inferior team. But he'll make the right plays. They'll run the ball. I know, Landis mentioned that Carter's out, but that Zion Knight kid or Zonovan Knight and Ty Johnson both ran well last week. So, I mean, the Jets are about running the ball, playing good defense, and not turning the ball over. And I think they do that. And you know how I felt about Minnesota all year. So I'm taking the Jets on this.
There we go.
So,
Yeah, I'm taking the Jets,
Craig
man.
is-
Taking the Jets.
Craig is saying Sauce versus Jefferson will be a good watch. I think yet 100%. Jets defense is solid. Players rallying behind Mike White. All that said, he's taking Vikings to win and cover at home.
Yeah.
Here's Sauce's test. Here's Sauce's test.
Oh,
Vikings by 10.
Damn.
Wilson gets
his job back?
No way.
CK, what are you doing?
I don't think Wilson's getting his job back, but I like the Lions, baby. Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen.
The Vikings,
Too many
man, the
weapons,
Vikings.
baby.
You drunk.
That's what I said. Oh, that's what I said, right? Hey, I'm hammering home the Vikings, baby.
I mean, the Vikings. I think the Vikings is a safe pick, but man, I think you line them
It's
up.
only three. If there was a hook, if it was 3.5, 4.5, I'd probably go with the Jets. But 3, Vikings should win and cover.
I
the money line.
I think the Jets went outright, bro.
I think the Jets win, man.
You better put money on that plus 125.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
Hey, you drinking too much Kool-Aid down there. Don't be drinking all that Jet Kool-Aid now. Speaking of team I've been drinking the team I've been drinking the Kool-Aid is the Commanders. Whatever it is, I'm drinking the Heineken and the Heinies. Johnny, who you like here? The Commanders go to the Giants. It's the Giants are 2.5 dogs at home. The Giants obviously coming off the loss to the Cowboys. It's a game the Commanders got to have to kind of leapfrog into that third spot in the NFC East and climb the playoff race.
I'm riding with Heineke too. I almost came on this show with a Heineken, no joke. But I'm riding with them and the Commanders. I think reality is starting to set in with the Giants. You know what I'm saying? They overachieved. And props to them and Brian Daboll for what he did, the first half of the season. But I think they're starting to come back down to reality. As long as they can stop Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones ain't beating nobody. And that Commanders defense is good. So Heineke makes just enough plays. And, you know what I'm saying, even if they win by a field goal, you'll say that's good enough. So I'm going Washington.
Tanner, it looks like Young is going to play his first game back. Who you like here, Giants or Commanders?
I like the Commanders. I like the Commanders in this just for the fact that they know how to score more than 21 points in a game. Brian Robinson's running good. The Giants defense, we kind of saw it, couldn't hold the whole game last week against the Cowboys. And I think you're going to see the same kind of deal being in a division game. It'll still be close, but I think you could come that third quarter, and that's when you see the game start separating from the Giants on the lead there. So I like the Commanders winning this game this week here in New York.
Slim, what about you, my man? Commanders headed to the Giants. Giants are 2.5 dogs at home.
I'm going with the Commanders, man. I think they're on fire. I think they hot right now. As a Buck fan, Heineke gave us hell the whole time we played.
That was the best game of the whole hardest game the Bucks had.
I'm gonna have to do it. Hold on.
Gotta get it.
But yeah, man, I think the Commanders, man, they're a good team with Heineke. I think they like to play behind Heineke. He's a baller, man. Like he's a baller, and with the Giants, it's a good conundrum type of game. The Giants is good, but I think it all kind of go behind Saquon Barkley and what he does and if Daniel Jones making mistakes. But if I'm going with it, man, my heart tell me, man, we're going with the Commanders, man. I think the Commanders has a defense to back them up. And I think with Heineke, he's a baller. He can put points on the board. They're real coach. He got the Heineken. Yeah, we got the Heineken, man. We're going with the Commanders, man. I'm going with the Commanders on this, man. It's an NFC East game. That division is starting to figure itself out. Yeah, it's toward the end of the season, so a lot of divisions gonna start squaring themselves out on who is who. I'm going with the Commanders, man. Yeah, man. I'm going with them.
Chris chiming here. Commanders 7-1 in their last 8. Rivera's figured out the recipe. These two teams are trending differently. Giants are coming down to earth.
Yep.
Commanders win and cover on the road.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I 100%. I'll make my pick here just a second. Rambling Runoff is saying Commanders. Nah,
Yeah.
they tripping is what he's saying. So he sounds like ramblings are off the
Commanders hot right
Giants.
they hot right now, man. They like the hottest team
Yeah.
in the league right now, man. Like
They are. They're one of the hottest teams for sure.
they're getting hot at the right point,
You know what
man.
I say?
So
Left hand up. Who are we? We the Commanders. I'm hammering home the Commanders, baby. Give me the Commanders at -2.5. I think they win. I think they probably win by 6 or so. The Giants backdoor covered last week on the +10 on the Cowboys. So there's that. Let's get into Titans at the Eagles. Eagles looking like they've been struggling a little bit, Tanner. They are 5.5 favorites as the Titans coming off the tough loss to the Bengals last week. Who are you liking in this one?
I'd be silly to say not the Eagles, so I'm going to the Eagles because they are the better team. They are the better offense. And if Jordan Davis just come back for that defensive line, give me the Eagles all day, especially covering that 5.5 at home. I think what you saw last week was Mike and I kind of talked about a little bit of a jingle of the bolts and nuts here coming into play. I think you're going to see a little bit more solidification come into play for this offense. I expect AJ Brown to not drop what he dropped last week. So give me that defense improving. Give me the Eagles to take down the Titans, and the Titans worrying about the Colts on their tails. So.
Johnny, this speaking of AJ Brown, this is the AJ Brown revenge game. As he was, traded to the Eagles in the offseason. You like the Eagles here +5.5?
I mean, I don't know how you can bet against the Eagles right now. I mean, to be completely honest, especially at home. I mean, guys are coming out of retirement to play for them. You know what I'm saying? Just to add to that defensive line. Like, did they really need Ndamukong Suh? I mean, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just getting silly over there, bro.
They're just trying to replace Jordan Davis somehow. So
yeah,
now that he's back,
that's what I'm saying. That just makes them even that more formidable, and like they have the trenches sewed up. You know what I'm saying? The offensive line, defensive lines are great on that team. So I mean, I know Jalen Hurts has those wheels, but he don't ever get pressure, and when he does get pressure, he's gone. So I don't know, man. The Eagles might only lose one game heading into the playoffs, man. For real, if you look at their schedule. So I'm a fly with the Eagles.
Slim, what's your thoughts here? Titans, you're a fly Eagles fly.
Fly Eagles fly, man. I'm out of Memphis, and I'm going against my own state. I've been to the Titan Stadium probably about 2 or 3 times, but in this game, I think I'm going with Philadelphia. It's just hard to bet against Philadelphia right now, man. Like they're winning, they're pumping on all cylinders. And what Tennessee does well is what Philadelphia is shoring up on, like stopping the run. And granted, Derrick Henry is an outlier. Like, you can do what you want. He's still going to run the ball, but I think it comes down to quarterback play, and I think Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, Ryan Tannehill is a difference maker now.
Yeah, man, and I think the Eagles have more weapons at wide receiver than
MVP difference maker.
Yeah, and I think when it comes down to the wide receivers, with what quarterback got to throw ball to, I think the Eagles have more weapons at wide receiver than the Titans. The Titans, only thing you can think about is Robert Woods and the guy out of Arkansas, the rookie out of Arkansas,
Treylon Burks.
Yeah, Treylon Burks. But you got AJ Brown, you got the Quez Watkins guy. You got guys that Jalen Hurts can throw to, and Robert Woods and Treylon Burks is not as prominent as a AJ Brown.
Slim. Props for being a pro, bro, because that's an inside joke with the whole difference maker. And when I said that, you started to talk about the wide receivers on Tennessee, like they may actually have something there. That's an inside joke that we got on Tanner because he called Ryan Tannehill the difference maker one time. So we
over Malik Willis. We've
been gigging on him ever since.
There's more on it.
And
There's more on it.
Slim went right with it, boy, and just started calling out the wide receivers for Tennessee, like trying to make an argument for it. That was some pro stuff right there,
shit,
Slim.
man. No, man, it's all good, man. Look, at the end of the day, man, I think it's a good game. I just think Titans can't put up as more points than Philadelphia. That's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah.
Hey, Greg is saying Commanders and Colts show the recipe with the Eagles run the ball and control the clock. Vrabel tough coming off a loss. He says he probably takes Philly money line, but he's got the Titans to cover.
That's interesting. It's an interesting situation.
That kid is nice too, Slim. Craig knows his stuff, bro.
Hey, Tannehill's so good. Dolphins paid Tennessee to take him.
Facts.
Hey, there must be something in the water here in Missouri because, boys, I'm with Craig on this one. Not only do I like Tennessee covering the plus 4.5, I like Tennessee.
You think they win?
I feel it in my bones. Something tell me, hey, I put on paper today. I put it on mybookie.com. I took the nice little parlay and on some upsets, and here was one of my upsets. Give me the Titans, baby.
Whoa.
I'm taking the Titans. Give me Derrick Henry. The Titans are, hey, I probably wouldn't have done this had the Titans had won last week, but they're not losing 2 in a row. They're too good of a football team. Mike Vrabel doesn't lose 2 in a row. Give me the Titans, baby.
I know what it is. You just like Sam's outfit on Sunday. That's all it was.
Jealous.
You loved it.
Dude,
I picked the Titans last week and they cost me $150. So no Titans.
I took the Bengals last week.
Why are you betting that much on that football game?
No. I just bet all together on a parlay. You know what I'm saying? Like they were the one team that I lost on a 5-team parlay that I was trying to pull.
Okay, I got you. That
sucked, man.
5.5 spread.
4-1 right there, man. I was mad.
We get into the absolute dog shit Broncos. Taking on. The Ravens an 8-point game.
Do we gotta talk about
Russ's
this game?
teammates aren't showing up to his birthday party. He's getting yelled at on the sidelines. Tanner, you're a resident, Russ guy. They covering the 8 here with the against the Ravens. I mean, we could just one word this one, and you don't have to give a whole lot of analysis because we all know Denver stinks.
When you have a difference of 15 minutes of time of possession in a football game, you don't win games. Don't win games. He had 72 yards going into the fourth quarter last week. I think actually 8 minutes into the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
this is nothing. Like if Ravens lose this game, like they have been doing lately, the crappy teams. Ravens, do we even trust them? Do we even trust them to make the playoffs if they lose to the Broncos? So, look, if they don't control the clock like last week was for the Broncos, like against the Broncos, what happened? Then I don't know. This doesn't make any sense to me. Like the Ravens have to be the win in this. There's no way.
Win big plus 8. It's an 8 point.
Oh yeah, I take that 8.
So
I'm also Lamar Jackson's on my fantasy team. So I also need like a good score this week. So let's do it.
Slim, what's your thoughts here? Ravens 8-point favorites against the Broncos, who are just awful.
Yeah, man. It's a hard call, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I just found out that Lamar Jackson had left practice early because he had a quad injury. So we don't know.
Don't tell me that.
Yeah,
don't tell me that.
Yeah, man, you don't know the health going into the game. But even then, let's throw it out there. I like the backup. What's the backup name for the Ravens?
Huntley.
Tyler Huntley. I like him.
Yeah.
But man, overall, like the Broncos, like, man,
you don't pick them.
Yeah, you just don't pick them, man. Like you have to live and die with just not picking the Broncos. Like you just don't do it. I got the Ravens here, man. As far as the spread, I mean, even with Lamar Jackson being not 100%, I still think they covered that spread. The Broncos just don't have any offense, man. Like it's bad. They're a bad team. Like offensively, it starts there. Like it's making it seem like Russell Wilson is one of the worst trades that it was ever made for, and they paid him. And the guy come over there and he just looked like a whole different type of quarterback than what he was in Seattle, man. And even void of the weapons, it's nothing remotely what he was in Seattle, man. You kind of feel bad for the guy because it's like,
I don't feel bad.
I don't feel bad. He got what, $200 and something million?
Yeah, no, but
and
got all that money.
Sierra.
But the thing is,
I'll never feel bad for a guy that gets to go home and bang out Sierra. Not
That's
one time.
That's what I'm saying.
Unless,
he's got $200 million
he gets
in the bank.
herpes or something from her. That's the only time I might feel bad. But at least then he got to go home to her.
Yeah, I agree, man. I definitely agree with all that, man. It's just at the end of the day, in your mind, like overall, mentally, you think that Russell Wilson is a better quarterback than that. Like I think everybody would think that Russell Wilson was a better quarterback than what he's showing on Sundays, and it's just like, what's happening? So yeah, I take the Ravens. I think the Ravens can mess this up. What Craig was saying, I think the Ravens can mess it up, but I think the Broncos would do a better job at not winning this game. So I'm going with the Ravens, man.
Johnny, the Ravens have given up 4 double-digit leads in the fourth quarter,
No
but
matter
I don't
what.
think Denver had.
Yeah, I just like he said, just out of principle, I can't pick the Broncos. Just, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like Craig said, I'm not picking this with any kind of confidence in the Ravens at all. And if the Ravens, like I'm telling you, this will be part B to the conversation about Jordan Love. Is the Russell Wilson trade the worst trade in history? But if Baltimore loses this game to the Broncos, like how much money is Lamar Jackson losing?
He's not. Baltimore's losing. Baltimore's losing them. That's what's happening.
But who's going to give him 230 guaranteed if he can't beat the Broncos?
There's a lot of teams.
If the Ravens doesn't make this is how I feel about Lamar. If the Raven doesn't make a bona fide playoff run, like you got to down there to go to the conference, the conference. If they don't get to a point where they feel like Lamar Jackson can win the Super Bowl,
they're gonna let him walk.
They're gonna let him walk because at the end of the day, man, once to your point, athlete versus quarterback, athlete versus whatever, like. Yeah. And I love Lamar. Trust me, I root for him. But I always been on the end of like, man, you can't pay him that type of money if you don't feel like you can win a Super Bowl with him.
Slim, that's your future quarterback, man. What are you talking about?
He can come.
He might as well go to Tampa. He ain't going to Miami now.
Take it like this. I'll take him. He can come to Tampa. But in so many ways, like he's better than what we'll have after we get after Tom Brady leaves. I tell you that. Like he's better than a Blaine Gabbert. He's better than a Cal Trash. So, and I think Lamar Jackson will bring excitement. We have a chance, but I think with the Ravens, they at a crossroad versus us saying we'll give you a couple years to prove it. Baltimore at the crossroads with Lamar Jackson, like we're gonna get, if you saying you want this money, you haven't proved that we can win with you. Like we haven't got to. It's not like the Bills where you get to the game and it just don't work out, but you can win. Like Lamar Jackson hasn't proved that. Like Lamar Jackson has proved that he's an athlete.
He hasn't even made it to the AFC Championship.
I was about to say, I think he's only won one playoff game. Did he win one playoff game?
And you want to get paid that type of money, man. The resume doesn't support that. But as a Bucs fan, if say Tom Brady leave and we need the quarterback and Lamar Jackson say I want to come to Tampa, we take him because that buys us time. We know he's better than Blaine Gabbert and Kyle Trask or whoever.
Whatever free agent's going to be out there.
Yeah. So don't get me wrong, we take him, but we're gonna pay this money, but you on the clock versus Baltimore already having him on the clock and you haven't produced. So
I'm gonna take. I'm with you guys. I'll never take Denver the rest of the year. I don't care what the spread is as well. Give me Baltimore. Hey, let's get into the next game. It's the Deshaun Watson revenge game. Browns headed to the Texans. Browns 7-point favorite. Slim, we'll start with you. Massage Watson returns to the scene of the crimes. Who do you like in this one?
I'm taking the
Texans.
Texas, man, because we just lost to the Browns. I'm going with the Texas, man.
What?
Texans
Nah, I'm
at
just
plus
Slim.
7.
I'm just
I
nah,
was about to say,
I'm still emotional. I'm still emotional from our past loss, man. But no, in all actuality, man, I got the Browns. The Texas is a bad team. They
Browns?
can't buy a win. Yeah, I got the Browns, regardless of how bad Watson play. I think Watson doesn't play good because he's got to get himself back acclimated to playing football. He got to knock a lot of rust off. But the Texans is just a bad team. They're not good. They're shooting for top pick. So I got the Browns. They cover the spread. Just whatever. Like I got the Browns.
All right. Tanner, what's your thoughts here? Browns as well?
Oh yeah, Browns cover, and Deshaun takes the whole offensive line out for a massage after, so he knows the spots.
The whole team headed up for. Hey, Jenny, you on the Browns as well?
Yeah, I have to, man. I mean, the Texans are just. I mean, they're pretty bad. I mean, they were competitive in a few games earlier in the season, but I mean, we had them beat at the half. You know what I'm saying? And if you didn't send out that text, I don't think Houston scores at all in the second half. You sent me that text about the game being over, and then all of a sudden, Houston starts making plays. But I don't think it's going to take Deshaun all that long. He may be a little rusty, but this is the perfect game for him to get those cobwebs off. And I don't think they can make a playoff run. But after this game, they got at Bengals, home against the Ravens, home against the Saints, at Commanders, at Steelers.
That's brutal.
Dude.
That's brutal.
I think, they got a lot of talent on that team. Watch Deshaun win like 4 out of those last 6. Watch.
Craig is saying Watson. Craig, they playing in Houston, so I don't know how Houston's getting a road win. Unless you think that
Houston's not.
See that's how fake his pick is.
Yeah, Houston, they just don't. Yeah, man.
Landis is saying Houston plus 7. He's taking the over. I'm taking the under.
At this point, it's not even prosperous for Houston to win. Like we all know, Houston, organizational wise, front office wise, like stop winning. Like,
well, they already got the number one pick.
They
got the number one pick already.
Bryce Young, get ready to be a Texan, but Massage Watson gets the first win. Give me Cleveland at plus 7.
Hey, Mike over here says Nick Chubb rushes for 200 plus this game.
Woo! It's not far fetched.
At least 150.
I love Nick Chubb.
At least 150.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if there's a prop bet, you better take that over on Nick Chubb's rushing yards.
Nick Chubb gonna get the wheels running. Like I think him and Kareem Hunt has a good game, but
this
it's
game
nothing the Texans can do.
Team that's kind of fallen off tracks here. It's the Seahawks headed to Rams, because who the hell's playing for them? No Aaron Donald, no Stafford, no Allen Robinson, no Cooper Kupp. I don't even know who the hell's line. I couldn't name one other player for this team. Cam Akers, but he sucks, and nobody else. Jalen Ramsey, I guess, is about the only guy going for the Rams that you could name. Johnny, yes. You like who you like here? Seahawks. It's a kind of still a big spread at minus 7.5.
That's what I'm
against
saying.
the high school led Rams.
That's the only thing that is worrying me is that spread is kind of big, but I mean I don't know. I'm a ride with Seattle, and Pete Carroll. I mean they need this win. They need this win to stay close with San Fran in that division, to try to win that division. So they have to win this game. Like I'm tempted to pick the Rams just to cover, but as soon as I do that, Seattle's going to beat them by like 10 or 14 points. So I'm just going to go ahead and say Geno Smith and company. I think they run all over the Rams. I don't know if the Rams score anything. That defense from Seattle is playing pretty good. And they're, like you said, everybody and their mother is hurt on the offensive side of the ball and the Rams side. So I'll take the Seahawks.
Tanner Walker's an absolute stud and a dog for Seattle. Can he help cover this 7.5 spread against, the no nameless Rams?
Yeah, I think so. I think Seattle wins this thing by a couple of touchdowns, if not more. This is a bounce back game for Geno. He struggled. I mean, the Seahawks in general have struggled the last couple of games. This is the Rams team that's depleted. They have like 8 guys over 8.5 million plus being out this week.
It was 350 million, I think.
There you go.
Of the cap is hurt for the Rams.
That's on the bench. So yeah, I think it's finally a bounce back game for Seattle that really needs it to stay in this playoff contention.
130 million, sorry.
130, yeah. So I like Seattle this game. Give me Seattle to cover that 7.5, and of course dominate this game.
Slim, what's your thoughts here? See you on Seattle too as well?
Yeah, man. I take the Seahawks out of the Los Angeles. They're beating I call them the Los Angeles scams. So yeah, man. Like I got them. Like no, Seahawks they win. I think the spread is kind of big, but it's not far fetched to say they don't cover that as well. The Rams can't produce anything on offense. They without Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp. They have no run game. You know, it's a total dumpster fire over there, and what's the coach name? Sean McVay. He can't figure it out, man.
He has a concussion from last week, so
yeah, I know. That was a shot to the face, man. It's
that
crazy.
Was the hardest hit the Rams defense. A defensive player hit
gave out.
All week.
To me, man, it looked like the player did it on purpose because he even turned around and react to it. Like I know you felt hitting him. He didn't even turn around and look for it. So
I don't think he wanted to because he was afraid what might happen. Back on the bench.
Yeah, the Rams is a bad team, man. It's a dumpster fire over there, man. There is everything that went wrong this season has been going wrong. You got Aaron Donald missing his first career game. You know, players are really shutting it down. Jalen Ramsey isn't looking good, and it's not because of his talent. I think he's already called out the offense. So I think mentally he's like, fuck this. You know, like the season is done. And I
they
think
got their chip. I've been saying it all year. They got their chip last year. They straight.
Yeah,
they ain't even worried about this season.
But that's why I call them the Los Angeles scams because that was a scam in itself. And once again, I'm not trying to be biased, but they won off one blue blown coverage off us. And they won off of Garoppolo missed the pass and he didn't hit the guy down the field. So you barely got by. So yeah, I got Seattle over the Los Angeles scams, man. Like they got it. Like whatever the spread is, I think Seattle can cover that. I think this is a bounce back game for Seattle. I think Geno and the rest of the offense need that.
They need this game too. Man.
Yeah, they need this game to keep up with the West, man, the NFC West. So I got the Seattle Seahawks, man. The Los Angeles Rams, man, it sucked. And the whole irony is they sucking, and them sucking is the pick that they're gonna give to Detroit. So and it's crazy because you're being so bad, you really can use that pick, but you already gave it to Detroit for bad staff.
And all your other picks, they gave up every pick.
They gave up everything, and you said all this last year about F them picks, and I guarantee you wish you had those picks right now. So
exactly.
I got the Seahawks.
It's coming back to bite him. Craig said Seattle by 2 scores. He didn't make the show today because he's headed to try out for the Rams right now.
Yeah, so yeah, man. The Rams is bad, man. I think that was really a situation where they were like F those picks, and now it's coming back to bite them. And this is what happens when a team sell their soul for a chip. And we didn't sell, as a Buck fan, we didn't sell our soul because we continued to draft. We still had all our picks, but the Rams sold their soul, and now they have to deal with it. And it's going to get even worse because you can't build without picks. And not everybody's going to – you can't just buy your players like that. So
I don't know, Slim. They won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they won a Super Bowl, but I mean, at a hefty price as well. You won a Super Bowl. And now you don't have anything in the cupboard to keep yourself competitive. So that's the difference between us and the Rams.
We'll get into the next one. We got probably the two games of the days coming up here. The Dolphins head across the country to take on the 49ers.
The spread is 4 now?
The spread is 4, Johnny. 49ers are favored by -4 as McDaniel takes on his home team his old team. Can your Fins cover here?
I mean, the Fins can win this game, so they'll definitely cover. They'll definitely cover the spread, in my opinion. How much?
Now, Johnny, don't be biased here.
I'm not. I'm just putting facts. Elijah Campbell's out. McCaffrey may not play. I don't trust Garoppolo at all. I'll take Tua over Garoppolo. What's that money line? Plus 180?
Yeah.
160.
Yeah. 160?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm taking Miami. Like at the worst. I mean, they could, that's the number one defense. And I'm worried about Bosa with Teron Armstead not playing. But I think Mike McDaniel is gonna have all those plays that Kyle Shanahan was like, nah, that's a little bit too much. McDaniel's will be like, oh, you thought this was too much? Watch. So I'm anxious to see what Mike McDaniel has for San Francisco. I think, like I said, I think they could win the game, but they'll definitely at least cover that spread.
Slim, what's your thoughts here on the Dolphins headed to the 49ers?
I'm taking Miami out of the way, man. I think Miami is playing at a high level. I think Tua, with the complement of wide receivers he have with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waller and all those guys, like Miami is one of those teams that they could very much make it all the way. They're playing at a good level on offense, and I think the offense is being complementary to the defense. I think they cover the spread. I don't think it's a close game. If Miami's going to win, it's not going to be by 3 or 4 points. They're going to win, and they're going to win by a margin. It's really just depending on if 49ers can stop them. Now, 49ers is a good defense. It's a good team. I think it's going to be one of the better games to watch because you get to marvel good offensive schemes and see how both those teams use their offensive weapons. But I just think Miami has a little more, scoring ability than the 49ers, man. So I'm going with the Dolphins, man. I think the Dolphins cover the spread. I think Tua has a good game. I think Tyree has a good game. I think they air it out. I think they really just this out scheme 49ers, man. That's my pick. Even then, I still have reservations about it because I think both of those teams are really similar in how they go about, how they score, how they move the ball.
They have the same offense. I mean,
I get it.
Right.
Same
But
offense.
Right. They have the same offense, but San Francisco ain't got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, I think that
or Tua.
That would tip the scale, man. And even with San Francisco having McCaffrey and
Debo,
Debo might have a hamstring issue.
Yeah, I just think when it comes down to it, I think Miami will be able to score more than 49ers, man. I'm going with Miami, man. You got to pick somebody. I'm going with Miami. And I think Miami cover this spread.
It's all good. It's understandable, Craig.
Before I get to you,
I can't hate on
Craig saying hardest game to pick of the week. I'm sorry, Johnny, my boy, but I'm taking the 49ers at home. Master versus the student.
Yeah.
Hey, so Tanner, what's your thoughts here?
Is Tua playing?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is Tyreek Hill playing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, is Jalen Waddle playing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Jeff Wilson?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, that helps. That's all I need to know right there. Look, the only team to score 30 plus is the Chiefs on these guys. Another team with a high-powered offense is the Dolphins. And here's the thing: we just talked about the Broncos and that possession, going into play. Well, the 49ers defense is going to get pretty dang tired when the 49ers offense just goes in and out the entire time because they're so inconsistent on using their weapons. So give me the Dolphins, not just to cover, to hit that 160 money line. And I end up thinking they win by 10 points because I think the 49ers offense is going to be so inconsistent. You never know what Jimmy G you're going to get that day. So I do like the Dolphins this game to cover, but I love them to hit that money line. Such great value into play too.
Yeah, man. Porn star Jimmy. I like porn star Jimmy. People have their problems with Jimmy G. Porn star Jimmy, man. I like him. Like he's done nothing but win. You probably don't like how he wins, but he wins.
He wins.
Right. He wins.
Yeah.
So but then again, he's not a high flying quarterback like that's gonna, just
his throws are he's kind of inaccurate though. If you watch his throws, his receivers make up for a lot of things. He's a little inaccurate at times.
If it comes down to a shootout, you're not going to pick Jimmy G in the shootout.
Not at
right?
all.
So,
not at all.
No.
I think that's the thing about Porn Star Jimmy is just like at the end of the day, like he works for that team and that offense because he has weapons around him. Like, he can throw a 5-yard slant or a drag to Debo, and Debo can take it to the house.
You put him on a lesser team, he's not going to look nowhere near as good. You know what I mean? You put him on Carolina or a team with less offensive weapons, like he's not going to be very good. He's going to be mediocre.
Well, then he's really shooting blanks then. So
yeah, he won't be Porn Star Jimmy. He'll be Slim Jim Jimmy or whatever. But no, man,
Jimmy.
I'm with it. I got Miami, man. I think Miami. They're playing good. They playing well. They love to play for each other, man. They're hot. What's the guy name? The coach, the young guy. I forget his name.
Shanahan or McDaniels.
McDaniels, he got those guys rolling, man. At Miami, they're having fun out there, man. You got to look at it, man. When a team is having fun, man, that does a lot. San Francisco, they're good, but Miami, man, they're playing at a different level. So
I'm right with you guys. So I just think 49ers got a good defense, but they're not very good. Their back end's not very good. Their secondary is not very good. Mm-hmm. And I think you're going to see Tua and Waddle take advantage of that. I like the Dolphins here. Give me the Dolphins at play. You give me the Dolphins plus 4.5. I like the Dolphins money line. I told you I had two big upsets. I like the Titans. I mean, the Dolphins beating the 49ers isn't a huge upset, but I put it with a parlay with the Titans. Man, that boosted some really good odds. Give me the Dolphins money line and the Dolphins plus 4.5, baby.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm hitting that money line. I'm going for it.
I already put a free bet on there, so
why not?
Yeah. Let's get into the AFC Championship rematch. This time it's the Chiefs headed to Cincinnati in a pretty much a pick'em game. The Chiefs are the favorite at -1.5. Tanner, your Chiefs headed to Cincinnati and trying to get is this obviously the revenge game?
This is the second revenge game in a row for the Bengals. They had the Titans last week and ended up pulling out that victory again. Well, this is a game that's been on Patrick's mind nonstop. I know this ever since he blew that second half in the championship game. So, and he's aware coming into play. Yes, Jamar Chase is back. Joey Mixon's back. They get some guys back. That's fine. That's great. This Kansas City Chiefs team, this is the time to stomp and kill teams. And this Cincinnati team needs to be out of the playoffs. Their schedule, we reviewed it tonight. It's so difficult going ahead that this is a must-win game every game for the Bengals. And this is the time for the Chiefs to put a team that could be in the playoffs out of their misery. So I believe the Chiefs will have a little revenge game, unlike the Titans actually finish this revenge game. Give me the Chiefs to win this game.
Johnny, who you like here?
Yeah.
Chiefs, Bengals.
I'm riding with Tanner on this one. This is the last hard game that Kansas City has on their schedule, and they do not want to give up that number one spot to Miami. So I think they're going to want to make a statement here against Cincinnati, because after Cincinnati, they got the Broncos, the Texans, the Seahawks, the Broncos, and the Raiders. So if the Chiefs get past this game, I don't think they lose another game, and they go 15-2. Woo. So, you know what I'm saying? And they're going to have to, because, you know what I'm saying, I'm telling you, as much as people are like, oh, these 6 games for Miami's going 4-2 or 5-1 down these last 6. I'm telling you. So Kansas City is going to put the beat down on Cincinnati right here. This is like a 10, like Mahomes, like you said, Mahomes wants to make a statement right here with this game.
It's the time to take down a playoff team.
Slim, yep. What's your thoughts here on this, another marquee matchup game here, Chiefs, Bengals?
Yeah, I echo those same sentiments, man. I think the Chiefs just really, I won't say a blowout, but they win convincingly. Like I don't think Cincinnati has enough firepower to keep up with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs is playing some of the best football in the league right now. They're on a warpath. This is a rematch in some sorts. The Bengals, nah, man. I don't think, nah, man. Like even with the spread is what 1.5. That's extremely low. I think the Chiefs win convincingly in this game. The way Mahomes and Kelsey is playing, like it seems like they're getting better and better each game, man. They're playing backyard football. It's like they can play with each other with their eyes closed. So yeah, the Chiefs win convincingly. They run the Cincinnati Bengals off the field. The Bengals do what they can, but I don't even have the Bengals going far in the playoffs, man. Like, no, man. I think the Bengals is kind of settling in on who they are. I think it was kind of a Cinderella type of season playoff run, Super Bowl run for them last year. Not to say they're not a good team, but I think the Chiefs is just really it seemed like they got better without Tyreek. So the Chiefs win and they run them off the field. And to your point, they win this game and they're smooth sailing to a 15-2 record. So
I am on the exact opposite of all y'all.
Nick,
Nick, you can't do
this.
That's because of your love affair with Joe
Nick.
Burrow.
Hey, maybe because I love Joe Burrow, but I mean, Slim is saying that the Bengals don't have the firepower. Do I remind you they have Jamar Chase?
Is he playing this game? Do he come back this game?
Chase is playing.
Chase and Mixon are back.
Chase is back.
Guess what?
Do I need to remind you of Mr. 100-yard receiver T. Higgins? They got him. Do I need to remind you of Hayden Hurst? Boyd, all three of the wide receivers are over 1,000-yard wide receivers. The Kansas City Chiefs ain't gonna have one 1,000-yard wide receiver. Okay, I think they give me the Bengals receiving core way over the Chiefs wide receiving core.
Oh my Lord!
Look, those three alone.
I mean, that's true.
But the thing is, Kansas City do more with less.
Right. I understand that.
They do more with less.
Who needs elite wide receivers?
They don't need 2,000 or 3,000 yard receivers, and they still put 40 on the team, no matter what.
The Bengals can put 40 on a team. And then the Bengals have one of the most underrated defensive fronts in all of football. Hendricks and Hubbard get no love from nobody, but all they do is get after the quarterback and sack guys. I'm telling you, the Bengals have won 5 out of their last 6 games. They won the last 3 in a row. Went into Tennessee and handled business. You got their center saying, "Fuck you, Tennessee," to the fans. I'm absolutely loving it. You know what it is. I say it every week. Bengals, Bodkins, Burrow, baby, give it to me.
See, it's my birthday. It's my birthday that day. So I've been, ever since the schedule dropped, it's been a wish. It's been circled. So there's no way the Chiefs lose, right? So it should be a good birthday present for me to win this game.
The Bengals are going to remind everybody who was the AFC champion last week.
Not for nothing, Nick, but the Bengals beat the Saints, the Falcons. They got their ass whooped by the Browns. They beat the Panthers and the Steelers, and then a good win against the Titans. That's
Insert fart noises.
Oh, wow.
Who the Chiefs beat?
Conversation, man. They're not beating good teams.
Who the Chiefs beat? Who the Chiefs beat?
Everybody.
Everybody. On their schedule.
They beat the lowly Rams, the lowly Broncos, the lowly Raiders.
We haven't even played the Broncos. You're just talking now.
I mean, Jesus. Don't act the Chiefs are out here beating world beaters like they're the best. Like, come on. They ain't beat nobody either.
Hey, guys, I got a jet here, so I appreciate you letting me kind of crash in and pick some picks with you. So
good deal.
All right, Tanner. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Be safe, Tanner.
I'll catch you guys later.
We'll have this conversation again on Sunday.
Can't wait.
I'm riding with my boy Joey Burrow all day. We got 2 more games to get into. First of all, I don't know. Can we talk real quick why the hell the NFL didn't flex either the Dolphins and 49ers to Sunday night or this Chiefs Bengals? Instead, we're getting the crappy Chargers and Raiders, 2 teams that are just absolute. I mean, the Raiders are, well, they're going to finish 8-8 and,
they
500.
Yeah, they flexed.
No,
Well,
they should've.
The Cowboys. The
they
Cowboys
flexed it
and
because
Colts are playing.
it's a West Coast team. They're West
Oh,
Coast.
that's
so
wait. That's a West Coast. The Cowboys and
Yeah,
Colts
so
is
they
Sunday
can
night.
do
That's
that.
even worse because the Colts stink.
Right.
We got to pick this Chargers Raiders game. Johnny, go ahead. Who you like here? It's a pick'em game. Chargers
bro.
head to L.A.
Dude,
or Las
I
Vegas.
I don't trust the Raiders for nothing, bro. And nah, I'm Chargers all the way here. I'm a ride with Rob Logan of Logan Sports, and I'm a ride with his Chargers and Justin Herbert.
Bigg Slim, what about you, brother?
I'm going with the Raiders. I think the Raiders I think they're figuring out how to use Devontae Adams. I think Derek Carr. I think they're getting around to it. I like the Raiders, man. And not to say I don't like the Chargers, but I like the Raiders in this game. I think Josh Jacobs is playing some of the best football. He's running the football at a high level.
Jacobs, he did get hurt. He popped up on the injury report, though.
He
pop up on the injury report, yeah.
But
even you did.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the way they used him last week, he was tired.
Yeah, he was tired.
Right.
But I think he plays this game. I think he's still serviceable. I'm going with the Raiders on this, man. I think at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a good game. Let me think about it.
The Chargers season might be on the line. Their playoff hopes might be on the line here. They got to win this game.
What's the tight end for the Raiders? I forget his name.
Waller's out, I think.
Waller.
Yeah,
is Waller playing?
Nah,
he's out still. I think he's done for the year.
I'm still going with the Raiders, man.
I was about to say, I think he's out for the year. Actually.
Oh man, this sucks. But yeah, I'm going with the Raiders on this, man. I think the Chargers is good. I think the Chargers make more mistakes than the Raiders. I think that's how their game come down. I don't think it's just
one of these coaches. Here's the thing: one of these coaches is going to lose this game because they're going to coach. This game is who's the more idiot coach? Is it going to be McDaniels or is it going to be Staley? One of them's going to do something stupid where you're like, hey, they're going to go for it on 4th and 20 on their own 3 or something like that in the first quarter, and you're going to just be like, what the hell are they doing? I'm going to lean towards, because I trust Justin Herbert a little bit more than I do Derek Carr. So give me, and I don't feel great about it, but give me the Chargers.
I don't, after Slim mentioned the whole, which one makes the mistake and stuff. The Chargers tend to make those mistakes, but still, the Raiders are just, like I said, the Chargers need this game because, I don't see them beating Miami next week. Not to be a homer, but I'm just saying.
Colts go to the Cowboys. Colts coming off the Monday night, loss where the Cowboys are coming off the beat. I mean, their last 2 games, the Cowboys looked probably one of the best teams in the league. You guys were doo-dooing on them earlier, but Cowboys are 11 point favorite here at home on Sunday night. Slim, what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, man, I'm going with Dallas. I think Dallas is the more complete team. They're a solid team. They just had, they fell on their face a few times, but with the coach, man, you can clearly see the coach have issues. They just basically hired a guy off ESPN to coach the team. So it's and I love Jeff Saturday, but they're clearly going through a transition, and they're not built to win right now, man. They're not trying to win right now. They're trying to figure out how to win in the future. So I'm going with Dallas, man. I think Dallas has more pieces. I think they're running the ball good with Pollard and Zeke. Figuring out how to do their 1-2 punch with them. I think Dak is coming on around, getting that offense in line. Of course, with the defense, they're solid with Michael Parsons and the cornerback. I forget his name.
Diggs.
Diggs. He's playing good. I just think Dallas is just the more superior team, no matter what. Like it just really just gonna come down to what team can just really manhandle the other team. So I'm going with Dallas with this, man. The spread is kind of big. I don't think. Do I think that they cover the spread? Maybe. Yeah, that's pretty deep, but I take it out, man. I think Dallas win. I think Dallas win by conventionally win by those points, man. Like I'm going for it. I'm gonna take a shot on it. Yeah, Dallas all the way.
Johnny, what you like? You like the boys to cover the big spread?
Yeah, I mean that's the only thing that is actually worrying me is the 11-point spread, but.
Yeah,
I mean, Dallas is obviously the far superior team, but this is one of those. I mean, we thought about that when they played freaking the Packers, but the Colts don't have Aaron Rodgers, so. Oh my God! As much as I don't feel comfortable about picking this Cowboys team with all those points, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say the Cowboys. Yeah, I like what Craig's saying here. They're gonna stop Taylor and Matt Ryan's like he done, man. Matt Ryan is
Yeah,
done.
Matt Ryan, he's seeing ghosts, man. They keep the pad rush on. If they keep the pad rush and found Matt Ryan is not gonna be able to do it.
Yeah, he may not be able to finish that game.
Right. And I think everybody knows the MO on Matt Ryan. Just bring the heat on him. He's gonna fold.
Yeah, he can't get out of the pocket. Cowboys can hold Taylor and force Matt Ryan to have to throw. Matt Ryan 3 interceptions, another big win for Dallas. I think Dallas is one of the hotter teams too. I mean, what they did to Minnesota a few weeks ago. I mean, they kind of put it to the Giants on Thursday night. Giants. I mean, really, a field goal. If Myron makes a field goal, it's like a 13-point game. Cowboys cover that big spread against the Giants. And I think the Giants are probably better to me than the Colts are right now. So I'm with you guys. We're all in on the Cowboys, baby.
Cowboys.
Yep.
All right, let's get into the last game here. The Monday night game. Saints at the Bucks. Slim, your Bucks are favored at -4 at home. How do you see this one going? Can the Bucks get it done against a not so good Saints team that just continues to? I mean, they win some games, but they look bad. Hey, also Andy Dalton on primetime's like 0-13 his last primetime games.
I'll tell you like this.
At this time.
I tell you like this. I feel better if James was playing quarterback because he would just give us the ball. Like he'll just turn the ball over.
And he'll do it to you for you on prime time.
Yeah, man. But now I'm speaking from an unbiased standpoint. Yes, I'm a Buck fan. I love my team. I'm an avid Bucks fan. I've been a Buck fan for a long time. I'm taking the Bucks, and the reason why I'm taking the Bucks is because of the fact that the Saints they're in limbo right now. And not to say we aren't, but I think we have a better defense. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I just think it comes down to the last time we played the Saints on whatever team make the most mistakes going to lose. It's not going to be a high-flying, shootout and anything like that. I don't think Tom Brady is going to throw 400 yards and put 30 points on the board. It's not going to be that at all. I think both teams are going to struggle on offense. It's going to be a defensive game. I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to whatever team makes the less mistakes is going to win. And unfortunately, fortunately, the Saints have a better, opportunity to make those mistakes. Tom Brady is playing the most efficient football he's been playing all season. He only got 2 interceptions on the season out of over 450 attempts, down to 500 attempts. So we're protecting the ball. I just think at the end of the day, it comes down to the defense.
Tom Brady hasn't beat the Bucks, right? Or the Saints since he's been a Buck in the regular season, right?
Like, no, yeah,
they just won earlier this year.
We just beat them early.
This year, okay.
Yeah, we beat them this year.
He had it, right?
Yeah, but it's been pure hell trying to beat the Saints. Like the Saints just have our number.
Lattimore and Mike Evans got into it.
Yeah, man, it's a bad rivalry. It's bad blood between us, man. And then you got our former quarterback going to the Saints. So he went over there and told them everything we like to do. So that's why I think honestly, as a Buck fan base, it's just been hard to beat the Saints because Jameis got in his feelings and went to the Saints and told them everything. So no, just to keep it short, man, I think we win this game. I think it's a low scoring game, but I think we win. I think we pull it off for the simple fact. I think that our defense is better than theirs. It's not going to be anything offensive to see far as putting up points. It just really comes down to whatever team make the less mistakes win. But I got the Bucks to win, man. It's gonna be an ugly, boring game. It's not gonna be Monday night football quality far as entertainment. It's just gonna be a grind out game, and I got us to win, man. And what's the spread? 4 points?
Four. Plus
I
4.
I
Or
got us
minus
there,
4 for the
man.
Bucks.
I think we win, man. I'm going with it. I'm going with it, and this completely unbiased. It's not just saying just because I'm a Buck fan. I'm really just analyzing on both sides. I think the Saints give us hell, but I think at the same time, man, and you got to think about it on far as the offensive line attrition worse out. So I think Cam Jordan is somewhere licking his chops right now, like just. I don't have to deal with attrition worse. I'm dealing with all backups, and it's. This is a game where you're glad you got Tom Brady versus Andy Dalton. You know, because Tom Brady's gonna protect the ball, get the ball out quick. He's not gonna make any try to put the ball in bad harm's way and stuff like that. I got the Bucks, man. I think we covered that short little spread, and I think we win barely. And I think it's a division game. We need this game in order to stay in first place with a losing record to get to 500. We got to win this game. So I got the Bucks, man.
Yeah, I'm riding with the Bucks too. Exactly for what you just said there at the end. The Bucks need this game. You're already 5-6. You go down to 5-7, and the Saints may actually be able to win this division. That's how crazy this division is right now. I say the Bucks at home. You mentioned Andy Dalton on the prime time, which that's an incredible stat that you pulled out a few weeks ago, man. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
I say the Bucks beat them here by at least probably a touchdown. I mean, it might be a close game at first, but I think it'll be like a 20-10 type game, something like that. 21-14, something like that. So they'll cover the 4 points.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just said Andy Dalton's like 0-14 or 0, his last
0-13 now or something like that in the primetime game.
That's wild.
Give me the Bucks to finish out the -4 at home. Bucks need it though, right, Slim? I mean, like you said. Slim, before we get out of here, I appreciate you coming on. Again, where can we find you at, my friend? And go ahead and get those plugs in.
Hey, man, I appreciate coming on the show, man. I love it, man. I appreciate you having me on. You can find me on Twitter at SC Bucks Pod on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook at Swords and Cannons Book Podcast. I have a page on there. You can also find me on YouTube at Swords and Cannons Book Podcast. You can check out my recent episodes. I'm getting better with uploading that content. I'm more active on Twitter than anything. But I'm always down to talk Buccaneers football. I'm always down to talk NFL football in general, man. I'm not just a Buccaneers guy that just only know my team. I love football altogether. I'm an avid football guy. Buccaneers is the focus, but I love football altogether, man. I got the Sunday ticket. I watch everything. I keep up with football in general, man. I can do this all day long. So that's where you can find me, man. Hit me up, DM me, tweet me, whatever you want to do. I'm always down to talk football in whatever capacity, man. So I'm available, man. Just let me know.
I appreciate it, Johnny. I know you just finished up with your Dolphins and 49ers preview with repping the Bay with Gina.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, check it out on the Let's Talk Sports platform. Yes, I had Gina repping the Bay as the guest there. We were talking the San Francisco game. We talked a little bit about the McDaniel Kyle Shanahan matchup and stuff. So it was a lot of fun. I'm actually going to be on her show on Friday night at 9:30. So make sure you hit that up. And then I'm actually going to be tomorrow. I'm going to be on Ted Talks Ball on his YouTube channel, talking some more 49ers and Dolphins. So yeah, I'll be on those two platforms. And then Saturday we'll have the roundtable on Let's Talk Sports. And then the usual Sunday threesome that we have with the morning show, the 7:00 show, and then I got the Sunday night post-game show on Sunday night. So yeah, I'll be all over Let's Talk Sports and all over a few other platforms. So I appreciate them, having me on. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, again, everybody, before we get out of here, Dan is doing a giveaway on Let's Talk Sports. You get all you have to do is subscribe to Let's Talk Sports, the Bodkin Show, the Whiskey Sports Podcast, and leave a comment. And the more comments you win from actually it was like the start of Thanksgiving till Christmas,
right.
More comments you leave, better chance you have to win. You have a chance to win $100, a sports jersey, a LTS mug, and a LTS t-shirt. So Dan's doing it big over at Let's Talk Sports. I'll be back in the morning for my weekly wrap-up show, maybe in the morning if I can get up early enough, or in the evening. So please check that out. Be a friend, tell a friend, folks. Like, subscribe, share. We appreciate everybody. Y'all have a good rest of the week. I'm excited. It's week 13, baby, starting tomorrow night.
Yes, sir. That's a great number. That's a great number.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to hit that outro, baby. Boys, I
right.
appreciate you guys joining me again. I'm blessed to have you guys. Thank you. Everybody else, have a good rest of the week. Again, be a friend, tell a friend. Hit the subscribe button, folks.
All right, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on. Slim, nice to meet you, bro. Yo, Nick, anytime, bro.
Yeah.
Hey,